Subscribe to my channel Report Stock.
Trying to stay genuinely informed today. It feels like you're just wading through this flood of information.
Yeah.
Especially financial reports, business updates.
Oh, yeah. It's information overload, loads of jargon, tons of numbers. It's easy to just glaze over.
Exactly. And you wonder, what's the actual takeaway here? What really matters? That's what we want to figure out today.
Precisely. We're here to cut through that noise for you.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into Reliance Global Group's, their second quarter 2025 financial results, and their business update.
Right. So this is one of those corporate press releases, packed with financial, strategic talk. Our job is to unpack it.
Yeah, find those key nuggets, decode the kind of corporate speak, and really pull out what matters for understanding where Reliance is heading.
So you walk away actually feeling like you've got the important stuff without having to read the whole dense report yourself.
Okay, so let's start with the big picture. Q2 2025. At first glance, you might see the numbers and kind of pause.
Mm-hmm.
What are we looking at? Well, overall commission income was down just a bit compared to last year. $3.1 million this quarter versus $3.2 million in Q2 2024.
Okay, slightly lower.
And the net loss actually went up. It's $2.7 million now compared to $1.5 million a year ago.
Right, so higher loss, slightly lower revenue. It doesn't immediately sound great.
But the CEO, Ezra Bayman, he framed it differently. He talked about making meaningful progress on their long-term strategic goals despite these numbers.
Yeah.
So what's the story behind the story?
Yeah, that's the key question. And what this source suggests is this isn't just like a random dip. It looks more like a deliberate pivot.
A pivot. How so?
Well, the release says the main reason for that revenue shift was a change in their medical and health client base. But, and this is really important, that dip was significantly offset by an 8% increase in their property and casualty, their P&C revenue.
Ah, okay. So they're shifting focus within the business itself.
Exactly. It seems like they're consciously moving towards P&C, maybe seeing it as a stronger or more stable area, even if it means a temporary adjustment overall. It's less about decline, more about strategic realignment.
And part of that strategy involves something called One Firm, right? What exactly is that?
Think of it as, well, as bringing all their separate agencies under one more unified operational umbrella, instead of maybe operating in silos.
Gotcha. Like standardizing processes.
Yeah, creating a cohesive, integrated model. The idea is to boost internal efficiency, get teams collaborating better, improve service for clients and agents, the works.
And that sets them up for better growth.
That's the plan. It positions them to scale more effectively and hopefully improve their margins as they grow. It's foundational stuff for building a bigger, leaner operation.
Makes sense. And this streamlining idea, it's not just internal processes, is it? They made a pretty big move with selling Fortman Insurance Services.
Oh, absolutely. That was a very concrete step in streamlining their actual portfolio of businesses.
So what did that do for them financially? Straight away.
Yeah.
Especially thinking about their debt.
It had a pretty immediate impact. First, it obviously strengthened their balance sheet just by bringing in cash. But strategically, it was about doubling down on what they call their tech-enabled, high-growth areas.
So selling off a more traditional agency to focus on the InsurTech side.
Seems like it. Aligning the portfolio with that long-term vision of, innovation-driven growth. They're placing their bets.
And the debt impact, I heard that was significant.
It really was. They used the proceeds to pay back about $5.6 million of their long-term debt. That's roughly half of it.
Wow, half. That must make a difference to their payments.
Huge difference. It cut their annual debt service, the amount they have to pay each year, by over $1.8 million. That frees up a lot of cash.
And the CFO, Joel Markovits, he commented on this too.
He did. He pointed out they expect to book a gain on that sale at around $3.0 million in Q3. And he stressed that between the cash from the sale and the debt payoff, they've significantly deleveraged, cutting those annual debt payments by about 61%.
61%. Okay, that really does give them more breathing room, more flexibility.
Definitely. Better cash flow, more agility. It's a big financial reset.
Okay, so on one side, they're streamlining, cutting debt, focusing.
Yeah.
But they're also launching new things, right? Like this RELI auto leasing.
Yeah, that sounds like an interesting new development. They're framing it as a new platform to empower their RELI exchange agency partners.
Empower them how? What does it let them do?
Basically, it gives these agents the ability to connect their clients with auto leasing options easily through the platform.
Okay. So it's adding another product to the agent's toolkit.
Exactly. And it creates a dual revenue stream for the agents, which is pretty clever.
Dual stream.
Yeah, they earn commission on the leasing referral itself, and they get to sell the insurance that goes along with the lease.
Ah, I see. So it ties directly into their core insurance business, too.
Right. And for the customer, the pitch is convenience, like nationwide delivery options for the leased vehicle.
So how does this fit into the bigger picture, the overall strategy?
Well, it integrates another service into their RELI exchange platform, making that platform more valuable for agents. It expands the ways agents can grow their business using Reliance's tools. It's a tangible new area for potential growth, leveraging their existing agent network.
Okay, interesting. Let's circle back to the Q2 numbers then and connect them to these strategies. We mentioned the slight dip in overall commission income to $3.1 million.
Right, driven by that shift away from medical health.
But then commission expense went up from around $886,000 to nearly $990,000. How does that square?
Well, remember that 8% growth in the P&C side? That growth comes with costs, specifically the commissions paid out on that new business. So higher P&C revenue naturally leads to higher commission expense. It shows that growth segment is actually, generating activity.
Oh, that makes sense. Growth costs money. What about salaries and wages? They jumped too, right? $2.6 million from $2.7 million. That seems like a big increase.
It does look like a big jump on the surface, but the report gives some important context here. A key driver of that increase was non-cash share-based compensation.
Ah, stock options and the like.
Exactly. So it hits the expense line in the accounting, but it's not necessarily cash going out the door in the same way salaries are. And crucially, the report also says this increase was offset by efficiencies from that one firm strategy and just running leaner overall.
So even though the reported number is higher, the underlying cash cost of running the place might actually be improving because of those efficiencies.
That's the implication, yeah. The accounting number reflects the stock comp, but the operational discipline is helping to manage the actual cash burn. It's a nuance you have to catch.
Okay. And a similar story with general and administrative, G&A, expenses. Those went up too, $1.5 million from $1 million.
Right. And again, the explanation points to things like acquisition-related costs, some cash, some non-cash. But just like with salaries, these increases were also apparently offset by those one-firm savings and leaner operations.
So there's a pattern here. Headline expense numbers are up due to specific things like stock comp or acquisition costs.
But underneath, this one-firm efficiency drive seems to be genuinely helping control the core operating costs.
Which brings us back to the bottom line, the net loss. It increased to $2.7 million from $1.5 million.
Correct. And that directly reflects the impact of those non-cash stock comp charges and the acquisition costs we just talked about. It shows why just looking at net income or net loss doesn't always give you the full picture of operational health.
Right, because it includes things that aren't necessarily about the day-to-day running of the business.
Precisely, which is why companies often report non-GAAP measures like adjusted EBITDA. It's an attempt to show the core operational performance by adding back things like interest, taxes, depreciation, amortization, and often these non-cash or one-off costs.
And what did that look like for Reliance?
Their adjusted EBITDA loss also increased to $382,000 from $178,000 last year. So operationally, still a loss by that measure and wider than last year, primarily driven by those commission income expense dynamics we discussed.
But again, mitigated somewhat by the expense savings.
Exactly. The report notes it was offset by improvements in general expense accounts thanks to one firm. So even the adjusted operational loss reflects both the pressures and the mitigating efficiency gains. It's complex.
Definitely sounds like a company in a major transition phase. For anyone listening who maybe isn't familiar, can we just quickly define what Reliance Global Group actually is?
Sure. So Reliance Global Group, Inc., their ticker is RELI on NASDAQ, positions itself as an insurtech pioneer. They're focused on using tech like AI and cloud platforms to basically modernize the insurance agency and brokerage industry, make it more efficient.
And they do that through a couple of main platforms.
Primarily, yes. They have RELI Exchange, which is their business-to-business or B2B platform. It gives independent insurance agencies tools to compete better, handle back-office stuff more cheaply, kind of leveling the playing field.
Okay, so helping other agencies.
Right. Then they have their direct-to-consumer or B2C platform, which is 5minuteinsure.com. That uses AI and data mining, they say, to give people quick online quotes for auto, home, life insurance.
So B2B and B2C tech platforms.
And they also still own and operate a portfolio of traditional retail, brick and mortar
Right.
insurance agencies. So it's a bit of a hybrid model, combining tech platforms with some traditional agency ownership.
Got it. So if we were to boil down everything we've dug into from this Q2 update, what are the main things you'd want people to take away?
Okay, well, first, I think it's clear Reliance is navigating this period with a very conscious strategy. That slight revenue dip isn't the whole story. It reflects a strategic portfolio shift towards P&C, which is actually growing.
Right, the rebalancing act.
Second, they've made a really significant move to clean up their balance sheet with the Fortman sale. Cutting debt by half and slashing those annual payments is huge for their financial health and flexibility.
Definitely a major highlight.
Third, they're not just cutting, they're also building. Launching RELI Auto Leasing shows their focus on adding value, especially for their agents, and finding new tech-enabled revenue streams.
Innovation alongside the streamlining.
And finally, underlying all this is the one-firm strategy. While headline losses are impacted by things like non-cash comp and acquisition costs, there's evidence this efficiency drive is starting to make a difference in controlling core operational spending.
So, quite a lot going on beneath the surface numbers.
Definitely, it paints a picture of transformation.
Which leads to a final thought, maybe something for you to ponder. We see these strategic moves streamlining, focusing on tech, cutting debt, launching new things. We also see these non-cash costs and acquisition expenses hitting the current bottom line. So the question is, how might these short-term reported losses, driven partly by non-cash items and strategic investments, be setting the stage for a potentially very different financial picture for Reliance in the coming quarters? Especially as those one-firm efficiencies really take hold and new ventures like RELI Auto Leasing start to ramp up.
Yeah, it's that classic question, isn't it? Is the current pain, especially the non-cash kind, actually paving the way for future gain as the strategy matures?
Something to definitely keep an eye on as their story continues to unfold.
Subscribe to my channel Report Stock.